All right, welcome back to the show. Thank you for staying with us. And on the show today, I'm joined by Dr. Lisa Trevino, PhD with Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, here to talk to us about trial vaccines, medical trials that are new to the Valley. So
That's correct.
yes.
So thank you so much for having us at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. We've got a clinical research institute where really our main mission and vision is to bring down the latest, most innovative and therapeutically promising therapies for individuals that have various diseases, whether it be diabetes, cardiovascular disease, oncology, different types of cancers, and now most recently moving into the arena of vaccine trial. So yeah, we are, like I said, really doing this for our community to potentially help those individuals that this could be their only option for improving with their diseases. So being associated with different organizations, pharmaceutical industries, top research institutions, federal funding agencies to bring these types of trials down.
So talk a little bit about the Institute itself. How long have we had it in the Valley?
Thank you. Yes, so the Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Research Institute started in 2014, again, with the recognition that we needed to bring these types of trials, this type of medical access to the patients of the Rio Grande Valley. We started, and really with the focus of identifying those areas that mostly affect our community. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, different types of cancers, studies in our neonatology unit, again, with the biggest intent to deliver that promising healthcare and promising treatment to our patients.
And why is it so important for us to have those right here at home in the Valley as opposed to going to Dallas or San Antonio or Houston?
That's an excellent question. And again, a lot of the limitations that our population face with having to travel, having to go to Houston and San Antonio and be away from their families, which, as we all know, is a huge support system for us in our healing. So Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, our leadership, our physicians came together and says, we need to start bringing these studies here to make it more amenable, more accessible to our patients.
And so how do these come about? Do you identify a problem that's going on in your local society and then just decide to study it, or?
Again, these are all really great questions, because how are we identified as a site to run these clinical trials? So the overall indication and identification of DHR to be a site starts with a thorough assessment of the facility, thorough assessment of the physicians, a thorough assessment of the research institute staff. We've got a dedicated staff to run the trial. And then again, really the most indicating factor here is that we have the patient population that could potentially qualify to be in this study. These studies are typically testing new medications, or they're testing maybe a new treatment regimen or a combination with another medication. So they're new and innovative ways to tackle these chronic illnesses. So it's a big overall assessment of the physicians, the institution, again, the patient population. Each one of these studies comes with it a unique inclusion and exclusion criteria. So not everyone that has type 2 diabetes will qualify for a study, or that has cardiovascular disease will qualify for a cardiovascular disease study. But should they fall into that criteria, then we do a thorough screening process, get the patient enrolled, communicate with their primary care physicians that they're on a study, and hopefully we'll have the participant participate in this trial for the duration of the study, which can vary.
Yes, and so one thing that I know is probably on the minds of many people down here is Zika.
Sure.
And so you guys are looking into a trial vaccine.
That's correct. So we were recently selected. This is a multi-center international study that's taken place and being sponsored by the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is a department of the National Institute of Health, again, to test out the safety and efficacy of a potential Zika vaccine,
Wow.
So it's very exciting. This is something, again, that's hot in the news right now.
Yes.
With more and more incidences around the country. Again, this is still in the research phase, making sure that it is efficacious towards, Zika. The findings will come together hopefully soon. again, in the next couple of years after the data has been accumulated to hopefully identify a potential vaccine for Zika.
And so then are you looking for volunteers at all
We are.
to come out, and what would that be? Say I'm sitting at home and I want to volunteer, what would that look like for me?
So the criteria to participate in this particular Zika vaccine trial, we're looking for healthy volunteers between the ages of 15 and 35 that do not have any chronic illnesses. That would be uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled hypertension, uncontrolled asthma. So relatively healthy and willing to stay the duration of the clinical trial, which is 96 weeks, so about 2 years, and comply and adhere to the schedule of the study. There's 3 different vaccinations that occur in a series, once a month for 3 months. And then we've got routine and bi-weekly specimen collections to monitor the titer of the vaccine and really monitor the participant throughout the duration of the trial.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It really is. We've got some really neat trials going on at the Institute.
And so anything else that people should know about? You mentioned also cardiovascular and diabetes.
Sure. We've got type 2 diabetes studies at the Research Institute. Again, our population suffers a lot from type 2 diabetes. We have a new study that will be starting in cardiology for those patients that have elevate levels of triglycerides and cholesterol. Again, we seem to know a lot of people. I mean, I guess there's not too many people that are not walking around with elevated levels of triglyceride. And so we've got a potential new therapy for that. Some potential studies in our neonatology unit. Again, dedicated physicians that are coming and realizing that this is a problem here in our patient population. We have a dedicated research institute that is committed to making sure that we are staying within the protocol and managing the studies for these physicians.
So if I wanted to learn more about the trials going on, where would I go to find out that information?
So feel free to visit our Doctors Hospital at Renaissance website, www.dhr-rgb.com. You can peruse the website. We've got a Research Institute website, or feel free to call us, 956-362-2380.
Okay, and are you guys looking for volunteers?
We are. We're looking for volunteers for the Zika vaccine trial, for our diabetes trials, for our cardiovascular disease trials. Again, we're looking for volunteers. These are highly regulated studies. We will walk you through the process. This is all voluntary, of course. We walk you and explain to you thoroughly what the study's about, risks, benefits, and really overall rationales to why we're doing the study, making sure the participant is comfortable.
All right, perfect. Dr. Trevino, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
So interesting. And thank you so much for joining us for Inside the Valley. We hope to see you again right here next week, same time, same place. Have a good day.